Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and it's time for my latest Decksperiment where I take a cool or crazy idea for a deck, build it live on the spot, and then take it out onto the ranked ladder to see how it performs. This next one is a Decksperiment that's in a series I've been doing lately of building a deck out of cards that are entirely of one rarity. In other words, they're all commons, all rares, or all legendaries, which are videos that I've already posted. But this time around, I think might be the most challenging one yet, and that is assembling a deck that is all epic quality cards. In other words, they have the purple gems here in the middle. They cost 400 arcane dust to craft. And I think this one's the most challenging because there aren't that many epic cards in the first place. And typically they do really unusual or specific things. They're not kind of like vanilla type cards that just have good stats or a base effect. They do unusual things. They're tech cards. They're weird. They don't fit together and don't necessarily build decks together that well. So this is going to be a difficult undertaking, but hopefully as I go through and I build a deck out of these cards, we can at least learn a little bit about deck construction and mana curve and all the things that go into building a deck of your own, so that next time you head into your collection, you can identify some of the strongest cards you have and essentially how to build a deck out of those cards as a foundation, and think about ways to shape your deck. So let's go ahead and let's pick which class we're going to use for this Decksperiment where we play only epic cards. In other words, I think I need to go through each class, familiarize myself with which epics I actually own and don't own, because I mean, I don't have every epic. If they're not commonly used and I've never pulled them out of a pack, I'm not crafting cards. So, you know, I'll never craft Sea Reaver, so I'm just missing Sea Reaver. So that might cause me some limitations, but I do want to see what options we have. So let's go ahead and start off with Druid. As far as what we're looking for, I think we want a good curve. So, you know, probably a mid-range style deck, probably, because there's not going to be a lot of early game drops. So we want flexible cards that do things at their cost that are kind of basic or reliable. In other words, Mulch is pretty good, but it's not a 3-mana minion that we can always play, right? It's not a 3-mana play, that's an 8-mana play. Because you want to remove something very significant from your opponent, and those don't usually come out on turn 3. Unless you're playing Shaman. But we do also want removal spells, right? So we need good value minions, we need removal spells, we need flexibility. Like, that's all the things we have to consider as we're building this deck. So looking at Druid, I mean, Astral Communion's out right away. That's terrible. I don't think we can make that work. Force of Nature's probably actually not that bad. Just a board summoning effect, right? It gets us minions out. It helps us recover if our board has been wiped. Forbidden Ancient I actually kind of like too. Unfortunately, I only have one of those, but it is flexible. It's inherently flexible, right? So no matter what your mana curve is, you can play this card and it's going to give you a reasonable minion. Ancient of Wars are pretty good. Wisps of the Old Gods is another kind of board recovery tool. But it would be hard to get enough minions out to utilize this as a buff. Ancient of Lore used to be amazing. Not quite as good anymore, but it is some card draw. So, you know, there are some options. Mulch is good too as removal, so we'll keep that in mind. Hunter doesn't have much going for it other than Call of the Wild, which is amazing, right? Like, this card is so good. Could almost carry a deck on its own, but you'd have to get to turn 8, and I just don't see that happening with 1 minion and 3 spells that don't work well together. Like, Lock and Load's cool too, because it's just a resource generator, but we'd only have 2 other spells to utilize. So it wouldn't be very good. Well, we'd have Call of the Wild as well, but of course that would have to last until turn 8, and there's only 1 minion. So the neutral minion set's probably not good enough to carry that. Mages, this is kind of intriguing, right? You've got ice blocks, so you can like stall out. You've got some early removal, some potential late game removal. You've got burst damage. You've got a good minion. And you have value generation, because Kabbalist Tome basically turns into more spells. And that's intriguing. Unfortunately, I only have 1 Koldara Drake. I feel like 2 of those could actually be good, and 1 Forbidden Flame. For Paladins, Mysterious Challenger's cool, but we don't have any secrets, so that will never work. Sword of Justice is kind of intriguing, just because you can guarantee value summoning dudes. Lay on Hands, probably too slow, as is Forbidden Healing. For Priest, Cabal Shadow Priest is good and Forbidden Shaping is good, but they're both only good later, right? Playing Forbidden Shaping for a random 3-drop is not very compelling, so it's actually worse than Forbidden Ancient, which gives you a consistent, predictable play. This is so unpredictable that it's very challenging to pull off. Rogue, Preparation's only good if you got spells to use with it, and there's none here, right? So that's not going to be very good. Blade of Cthulhu only works with Cthulhu. We won't have Cthulhu. Kidnapper's really slow and bad. Shadowcaster's way too specific. Poison Blade, I think, is one of the worst cards in the game. So, although, admittedly, it is kind of predictable and guaranteed value in this kind of deck, because you're not going to have plays every turn, and it gives you something to do. Shaman is actually pretty intriguing, right? This looks the most intriguing so far. You've got good weapons, and I don't know that we'd want to run... I don't know, I'd almost want to run Hammer of Twilight, just because I never get to play it. It looks cool. But also Doomhammer's good. Farsight's good with like Earth Elemental, and all these Overload cards are actually good with Eternal Sentinel as well. So I feel like you could actually put all of these cards into a deck, and they'd kind of fit the right playstyle, which is a slow, board control focused game. So I don't know, this is kind of intriguing. We'll definitely keep Shaman in our mind. That's at the top of my list right now. Warlock. Some good removal spells. Actually, it's pretty much all removal spells, and then 2 mediocre 4-drops and 1 Renounced Darkness for me. But Renounced Darkness won't be that good because we wouldn't have that many Warlock cards. So Warlock's probably out. Warrior gets Shield Slam and Brawl, but no ways to build armor. So Shield Slam's bad. Blood Warriors is going to be way too inconsistent. Yeah, Shaman is really the only class that looks like it has epics here that suit a certain playstyle. So why don't we go ahead and try the all-epic Shaman? As if the ladder needed more Shamans on it right now. All-epic Shaman. Let's finish that off. Let's go ahead and I actually think all of these cards probably fit. Are there any more epic Shaman cards? Charged Hammer. I actually like that better than Hammer of Twilight, but I don't want to spend dust crafting it. I also don't think we need 3 5-drop weapons. Cancel. So why don't we take out 1 Doomhammer and add in 1 Hammer of Twilight? Because I think it's going to be overkill to have 2 Doomhammers. The overload could be too punishing, and you don't want to get stuck with 4 weapons in your hand, because Doomhammer takes forever to use, right? So if you get Hammer of Twilight after Doomhammer, you're going to feel pretty terrible. So we definitely want Doomsayers as we move over to neutral cards, because this is going to be a late game deck, right? We've got removal, we've got big dudes, and there's a lot of big epic dudes in the neutral set as well, so Doomsayer fits that mentality really nicely. Maybe even a big game hunter? Could be a removal spell. It could also, though, limit my ability to play it with Earth Elemental, because I don't know if you know this, but when you play Big Game Hunter, if the opponent doesn't have a 7-attack minion, you have to target something with your battle cry, which means sometimes you have to target your own, and that definitely is not fun. Faceless Shambler's pretty cool with Earth Ellies. Let's see if that works. And Faceless Manipulator. Twilight Summoner. I guess that's pretty good with like Elemental Destruction and just your opponent's board clears. But right now we have a lot of 4-drops. Sea Giant's kind of cool, right? It works well with totems, if your totems stick around. Grand Crusader is not actually a bad card. You get a random Paladin card. You could get Tyrion. Naga Sea Witch is actually kind of intriguing, right? But actually it's not, because all of our minions cost 5 anyway right now. Yeah, and there's just not that many late game minions. Ugh, this is getting dicey really fast. I like Validated Doomsayer sort of for this deck, but it's actually a pretty bad card, because right, it doesn't have attack on defense, which means you give your opponent an entire turn to kill it. So maybe we'll try a Grand Crusader since we only have 1, and we'll try 1 Sea Giant, and we could be hero powering a lot, so we'll turn this Frost Giant into a thing from below to the best of our ability. And we're not gonna have any dragons, so this is a good card normally, but not without dragons. Dark Speaker's kind of intriguing with totems, right? Basically, if you play a totem, it's going to be on the board. It's a 0-2 or whatever. Your opponent thinks it can't attack, so they leave it there. But then you play Dark Speaker on it, and suddenly your totem is a 3-6 with charge. In other words, it can now attack instantly with that 3-6 stat line. And you just leave that Dark Speaker as a 0-2 to die. That's like something they have to deal with. Which actually feeds into Sea Giant, like if they're leaving that around. So maybe we drop the Frost Giant and try the double Sea Giant. Sea Giant's also good if our opponents get a big board, because we can just kind of play it to counter them. Cyclopean Horror I don't love as a card, but it's a body and a taunt, which is good if opponents get off to a really fast start. We can play that. There are no early minions. Garrison Commander, I don't know, you could get 2 totems out. That's kind of cool. Blood Knight, we don't have any of our own Divine Shields. Divine Shields aren't that popular either. It's mostly just Argent Squires. We won't be buffing anything, so this is not relevant. Harbinger will get us a Sea Giant, but I don't think that's that valuable. Molten Giants, I don't know, we don't... I guess we could do a cool thing with, like, Earth Elemental into Molten Giant if we're almost dead. Get a really cheap Molten Giant, stay alive, and then just swing the board in one big turn. But we'd have to be so low health total to pull that off. We do have a lot of taunts, though, so maybe the Molten Giants actually make sense. Since we have, like, Faceless Shambler taunts, Cyclopean Horror, Earth Elementals, Faceless Manipulators, like, you could build a pretty cool turn with Molten Giants, I guess. And even if it's like a, 8 mana to 8/8, sometimes that is a valuable play all on its own. So we need 3 more cards, but there's like no cards left. Whenever you play a card with Battle Cry, a lot of our stuff has Battle Cry. That has Battle Cry. Yeah. We kind of need like 2 and 3 drops though, so I think I'm actually going to grab the Garrison Commanders just to have an early body. And then we need 1 more card. 1 more card. I still don't think we can do another weapon. BGH is too risky with our own minions. Blood of the Ancient One. That's never going to happen. What about a Scaled Nightmare? That could be cool if it sticks around behind some taunts or something. Mountain Giant I don't think is going to work just because we don't have a way to draw cards. So we have to kind of just hope our curve fills out. So maybe a Scaled Nightmare. That makes the curve look halfway reasonable, right? We're definitely mid-rangey, but we do have like some 2-drops to keep up. We have Elemental Destructions to reset. Got some good taunts to stabilize, and some kind of power play finishers, basically, that we can drop as giants to help us win a game that we've stabilized from like Earth Elemental, for instance. So I don't know, there's going to be a lot of dead turns because cards like Faceless Manipulator and stuff require minions on the board. So not all these pieces work well together, right? Like we have Sea Giant for all our totems, but we also have Doomsayer to clear the board and Elemental Destruction to clear the board. So that's kind of an anti-synergy to think about. But basically with this limitation, we're forced to make some sacrifices in that regard. Yeah, 1 Charged Hammer might be nice, but I don't think we really are missing too much. Oh, Kodo Rider would be pretty good. I didn't think about neutral crafted cards. That would not be good, probably. Master Ceremonies, no, that's not very good. I wouldn't mind a Kodo Rider, just to reward our hero power, but not that exciting. Not worth crafting, certainly, when I only have 600 dust. Cool, so I think this is going to be my all-epic Shaman list. It's basically kind of a control Shaman, almost like the Bog Creeper Shaman that I did a video on pretty recently. But a lot of control Shamans are being played these days. Well, not a lot, but people are experimenting with the archetype again. And this has some of those elements, right? Earth Elemental Faceless is basically the core conceit of that deck. There's no Ancestral Spirit, but by God, we've got some stuff that can do some big plays. So let's go ahead and take the all-epic Shaman out onto the ranked ladder and see it in action. Man, our opponents are going to be stunned. They are definitely going to be stunned. So as far as mulligans are concerned, I think Doomsayer takes privilege above everything else. But any early game cards are good. Like, we'll probably just keep this Eternal Sentinel, even though I don't anticipate actually using its effect. Maybe the Garrison Commander is better to play early. Doomhammer's not great because we don't want to be taking a ton of damage. But if we can keep the board in check a little bit with it, or just push for lethal on the back of, you know, some Molten Giants or something, it could be good. I don't think it fits into the deck that well, but we'll sort it out. At least he didn't win. That's good for us. If I play this, it's gonna die, which is kind of sad. But I'll save some life, which is kind of cool. I don't know that we can, like, our deck's not consistent enough to make like crazy greedy plays, right? Like, I think we kind of just have to go with the flow, play what we've got, try not to fall too far behind, and then leverage a power play later on. He's not going to kill it. I mean, he knows I can't utilize it this turn, so it kind of makes sense. So I'm still actually going to trade, regardless of the fact that this could get me value next turn. Because I have a 4-mana play anyway. So I don't feel any urgency to pull that off. Normally I'd Farsight here, but this is good to get out. Like, it's going to be annoying for him to deal with. I could actually even pull the Dark Speaker off on it, maybe. And set up an instant trade here. So that I actually get value off the body. This thing would then die for free, basically, but at least I get to kill something. And he feels even worse about, like, dealing with this. That's a pretty cool effect. I mean, this card is not great, obviously, but it's kind of cool, right? It's almost like, it's like give a minion charge almost or something. I don't know how to describe it, but it's cool. It's not give a minion charge, but it's like give a buff charge, which is pretty neat. So do I go ahead and Elemental Destruction here? This will die, but it will kill... Well, shoot. If it wasn't taunted, I could pull off a really cool Elemental Destruction. Because this will die and leave me a 5/5, but this won't die unless I trade first, which means there's a chance I just kill my own 5/5, and it leaves him 2 1/1s up. I could also Eternal Sentinel afterwards, I guess, so it's probably worth, even though I kill my guy. Because otherwise... Oh, that's not Elemental Destruction. Glad I did not cast that. Hopefully my dude lives, but even if he does, it won't really matter. Just because the 1/1s could trade into him pretty easily. Garrison Commander's a reasonable play next turn, but High Main is nasty. Yeah, I don't have a good way to answer that. Other than perhaps another Elemental Destruction. Actually, Earth Ellie's sort of okay against it. It's unlikely he's able to deal with that. We'll go ahead and attack into one of these. Otherwise, he has 8 damage on board, so... Faceless Manipulator would be a sick draw if this stays alive. Well, probably not, because it's going to take a ton of damage this turn, but... He's looking for... I don't know what he's looking for. Getting multiple totems out is going to be cool. I wonder if he's pieced it together yet that my deck's all purple. I don't hate that so much, right? It's going to pop the... Oh, never mind. He has Skill Command, so it's kind of bad. Never mind. It's kind of bad. Because now I can't... I needed this to pop itself to cast the Elemental Destruction, right? So I'm kind of like stuck now. Yeah. I'm not going to cast this as a... well, maybe I should have played it as a 3/4 because he has 11 damage. So I'm probably dead. Cup, I'm dead. Well, I was dead anyway. That wouldn't have mattered. Yeah. Hunter's not the best deck to test this against. Because we got ran over really hard. And we wouldn't have been able to beat the Hunter Hero Power anyway, probably. Hopefully we get like a control deck now. I want to see this deck against a control deck, because really, we're so slow that fast starts like that. We don't have any health gain, right? Like normally, control shamans like this have healing wave to heal 14, so they don't mind taking those early hits as long as they can stabilize behind a taunt. Still just heal up, but we don't have that, so. Sea Giant's almost worth keeping. I would almost consider it, just because this is likely Zoo that loads up the board. Well, that took that dilemma away. Farsight's good. We'll try to draw into a big taunt. I'm actually sad that we drew that, because it means it's less likely to come out of Farsight. I mean, it still might be relevant, but Zoo doesn't have much trouble trading up into an 8 health minion, so. No 1-drop, that's a good sign. We'll try to get this guy some value again. Maybe we should have ran the Frost Giant with the Garrison Commander. That's a cool combo. Just pulling out the inspired tricks that never took off with the Grand Tournament. This will tell us if it's Zoo or Handlock, probably. Well, not Handlock, but Reno Lock, most likely. Looks like he's coining the Imp King boss. Councilman instead. Okay. Okay. I'm still going to Farsight. This will probably die to the Councilman next turn, which sucks, but I'm going to save this. This is like a cool combo, right? Like I can play the Ellie and instantly clear the Overload. If this guy lives, I probably still won't double totem. I'll probably still play this, depending on, because he's going to be incentivized to play multiple guys, right? Which makes this much bigger. Like I said, he's going to trade, and this will then trade into his board, right? Pretty well. Not super well. How much health is this going to have? 7 health. So he'll probably be able to use this to kill it. Which sucks, but, well, maybe not. He may have trouble summoning 3 guys with 4 mana. Not with Abusive Sergeants and stuff, but it's not good. Here it goes. Knives could also impact this. He's going to use the little guys instead. Yeah, makes sense. Keeps the 6 power out longer. Playing this feels pretty bad into that. Doomhammer also doesn't feel stupendous. This is just going to straight up die to that. But what else can I do? If I play Doomhammer, I take 9 damage. And I still don't get through the Voidwalker very efficiently. So I think I have to. I think I totally have to. Maybe next turn I can Doomhammer into the Eternal Sentinel. I'll have the mana, or excuse me, Eternal Sentinel into Doomhammer because I won't have the mana to do it the other way. I could have played this turn, but I'm scared it's just going to eat knives and die. Oh my god. Well, that worked out efficiently. I mean, I don't totally mind. We mitigated some damage, right? And the Sea Giant is probably going to be playable. Maybe not. Depends on what he does here. Forbidden Ritual again. Imp King boss. So the Sea Giant will be playable, but can I afford to take this much damage? So it goes down to 5. So if I play this, I can still play the Sea Giant. That's good. God, I bet he's confused. I really need him to like trade into this to think it's relevant. It's not relevant at all. He can just ignore it and go face. But if he decides to trade into this or kill it, that buys me a lot of time. A lot of time. And I need a 3-attack thing to survive to get through this taunt efficiently, because my Doomhammer's not great with it. Go ahead and make them trades, buddy. Go ahead. I don't even care if you power overwhelming. Just get through this. Don't go face. He knows. He's going face. He's too good. He's not going to make that trade. There's no way. He absolutely needs to go face. Elemental Destruction. Oh my god, he's going to clear. Oh, please. That's the only shot I have. If you just go face and I don't draw Elemental Destruction, I'm ruined. If I draw Elemental Destruction in the hand, pretty good spot. Pretty good spot. I can actually attack this and it won't spawn a guy. No Elemental Destruction, but this is an okay play. Not my favorite play in history, but it's an okay play. Let me go ahead and play this just for the stats. I'm not thrilled about it losing the effect, but that's probably enough to kill me, right? Like, there's so much damage on the board. He's got to 8, 10. Yeah, that knife actually gave him lethal, I think. He may not see it, though. I don't want to mouse over his minions to teach him, but I think he missed lethal. This hasn't attacked yet, right? So, yeah, he missed lethal. He's gonna put me at, like 9 or something. Yeah, he definitely missed lethal. Yeah, whoops. Yeah, this dude's gonna be huge. I think it's technically correct to, that was a taunt totem. It might have had a chance of keeping me alive, but he has way more than 10 damage, right? Because he has 7 minions with an average of like 2 damage each, so something like 14 damage. Plus a knife ping is probably going to kill me, because those knife jugglers have lived for 1,000 years. Oh, well, that definitely seals the deal. There it is. Oh, that's tough, man. We need the consistency of Lightning Storm and Elemental Destruction, which is what most control shamans run, right? It's important that you have enough cards. Like, if you're very susceptible to a certain thing, like we're susceptible to big boards that trade up efficiently, because our taunts just die to that stuff over and over again, then you need consistent options to deal with those things. Control shamans deal with that by having 2 Lightning Storms and 2 Elemental Destructions. This deck, although sort of a control shaman, right? Not a refined one, clearly, because it sucks. Doesn't have those answers. It just has the 2. So you draw them much less often, and they're much less reliable. Yeah, Doomhammer kind of sucks in this deck. It doesn't really meet what you're trying to accomplish. Without heals, you just don't want to use it as a clear, and you don't want to do damage with it, so you never really have the time to spend 5 mana. I mean, we used it because it's one of the best epic cards in the game, frankly, and it seemed like it would make sense, but in reality, I think we'd probably just be better off with like a Blood Knight or something, you know, some other card. Maybe even like a Crazed Worshipper, just to have another taunt. Blood Knight sounds good right now, doesn't it? So this is a pretty cool combo if we can pull it off, but well, if that's the right minion to pop the shield here at least. Hunter has ways to deal with all these things. He's off curve a little bit. Doomsayer. That's the first time we've seen our Doomsayer. I'm going to go ahead and play it, I think. Just he might have a way to deal with it with Kill Command, but again, that's a heal, right? So this is a 7 health heal, even if it dies. If it doesn't die, kills 2 minions and denies him a turn. He has to hero power. Which is fine, because it gives me time to play this on an empty board, which is sick. Because I need this to be able to attack and gain value. Then we can play this into this, maybe. I don't think he has the answer. He would have done it already. He probably just want the Eagle Horn Bow, but it only does 6. He should still Eagle Horn Bow, probably, and just go face. I mean, this definitely signals I'm not mid-range, right? Farsight into Doomsayer. I think he knows that we're not a mid-range deck. So he had something up there. He's considering if it was worth it. Like, I think he was weighing Kill Command, personally. If I'm able to pop this, I could actually copy the 5/5. That's not too bad, but I'll probably just play the Earth Ellie. Although that puts me in 3 mana for turn 6, which isn't very compelling. So maybe I will just do this as a 5/5. That's not actually the worst. Doomhammer all of a sudden got better, right? Because they have a turn 4 play. If I play this on turn 6, we'll have 4 mana. Actually, this helps even more. Plus, this Doomhammer can actually just deal with this guy. And taking a beast off the board is actually pretty valuable. It took 4 damage, but in the scheme of things, when I'm about to taunt up like this, I don't even think that's a problem. What's he gonna play at 5? Probably Infested Wolf. He might just Houndmaster if he doesn't have anything else. That'd be sick. I'd love a 3 health minion because I can attack, use 1 weapon, play the the Eternal Sentinel into the Faceless Shambler. Probably. I want to pop this Death Rattle though. Yep, that's what happened. Cool. So yeah, this is gonna be the play I think. Can't quite pull off that trick again. Not super thrilled about taking 4 damage again, but like I said before, we will be able to build a pretty solid board here. And since we don't have Overload, we can actually Earth Ellie Hero Power next turn, which is cool too. And this is a nice big board. We're susceptible to Kill Command. Savannah Highmane sort of sucks, but to some extent we might just be able to ignore it for a while and pressure him in return. Because if we play another big taunt, like, he has to get through 2 big taunts. And we have 4 damage to the face with our weapon and 8 damage here, so putting out 12 damage per turn for 2 turns puts him on a pretty short clock. So Highmane actually might not be that bad to see. I don't hate that so much. That's pretty weak. Houndmaster? Yeah, it's still not great. If it leaves this alive. Do I want to go ahead and Cyclopean Horror? That's the question. Oh, do I want to taunt this back up as a 3/6? That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Like I can trade, attack, and then make this a 3/6 again. It doesn't really give me that much stats on the board though. Like maybe I'm just better off with Earth Ellie clearing. Yeah, I think I like just clearing better. Even as a 5/1 taunt, that has some value, right, against Unleash the Hounds and so on. Do I just want to play Scaled Nightmare since it's likely to live and just kill him? I can always Earth Ellie later. Let's just do this, right? We don't have to. I don't want to Earth Ellie Hero Power just in case he has Unleash the Hounds, and then we have 4 minions out. He's able to kill this and this. Oh, cool. All right, boys. All right, boys, we did it. The Doomsayer was actually the difference. I think that's integral to this deck's early success because it's the. I'm gonna play 1 more game. I was only gonna play 3 if I lost again because I'd given up hope. But by God, we did it. We won a game. He had a lot of cards left too. He must have just saw no end in sight to that Scaled Nightmare. That put him over the edge. He's like, oh God, that's going to be a 32 attack thing before long. Alright, Paladin's going to be fun. This is going to be neat. Equality Consecration, though, is really bad against us. Like, it just ruins us. Here's our own True Silver Champion. I don't need it, though. I want, like... I don't even know what I want. Against Paladin, everything changes. I kind of want to win the game a little faster before they draw into Equality Consecration. This is still a good turn too, though. So that probably still signals N'Zoth, but does have some leanings of aggro. Like this could be an aggro card too. I think it's N'Zoth. Aggro would have had a 2-drop. It's the first time we've seen that. I was really hoping for Taunt Totem, right? Because I want this to live, because I don't have a turn 4 play. So I'm just going to go face and hope he doesn't trade or thinks that this is more important somehow, but he's pretty smart. He knows better. Should have traded, gave him a good solid vigil. So that definitely signals N'Zoth. And I just don't have a play. It's kind of sad. This is cool because it's not even, like Outlaw Peacekeeper is sort of good against it. It basically turns the clock back by 1 turn on it. But I don't know what else you do against this as a Paladin. It's kind of cheap too. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I'll just load up the Doomhammer here. pressure him a little bit. I could kill a minion, by the way. There's some value in that, because it could deny a Solemn Vigil, but he already did one Solemn Vigil, and his hand's at 9 cards, so I don't really think he wants to Solemn Vigil again this turn. Well, that sucks. Well, he probably thinks it sucks more to me than it really does. I actually don't care. Because I'm just going to Doomsayer him right back, so... Taunt Totem would be good. It shuts out... man, where are the Taunt Totems at, boys? He's going to kill it for me. That's actually really good for my Sea Giant. He's going to leave some minions up. I don't want to do this because it's a little too susceptible to the board. Yeah, I'm just going to play this, right? Like, screw it. That's what it's there for. You have another good weapon here? This one's even better if it gets Swamp Ooze, though. It's pretty cool. I don't even mind this either. Like, this is a dude killer supreme now. This guy gets to kill dudes all day. All day. Do I want to go ahead and do Elemental Destruction, though? Is there ever going to be a better one? I don't think there is. Hilariously enough, playing Cyclopean Horror before I Elemental Destruction is better than playing it after I Elemental Destruction. Because it's going to gain +5 health, and it might only lose 4 health. But that said, I think I'm just going to Twilight Hammer instead. I'm going to go ahead and save it. He used an Ooze. Harrison overdraws him, I think, so whatever. Even if he Harrison's right, I get a minion, so do it. Go ahead. If he's running 2 weapon removals, that's insane as well, by the way, so there's also that element. I don't really have a good way to answer that. I don't want to use that on Cairn. Cyclopean Horror is a 3/5. That's not very exciting either. Do I just hero power maybe? Take some face damage? Yeah, that slows down Cairn, I guess. Whatever.
I have no time for games.
Sylvanas is more annoying. Jeez. Where's my Faceless Manipulator at? That's what we need. I don't have a way to deal with her. Can give him a Sea Giant. It's not very exciting. I don't know. I guess I can try this. It's kind of intriguing. Probably doesn't give him the... Could actually copy this, but again, Sylvanas just ruins that. I need to deal 1 damage to Sylvanas. Let's try this, see if he has to hit it with Sylvanas, and then we can attack with our face into Sylv. He's not gonna have to, though. How on earth do I do 1 damage to this board? I need the other Elemental Destruction, I guess. This deck has just like 0 ping effects, or rock biters, or... Let's see, he has 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 damage on board. I guess I can Earth Ellie Doomsayer. Quality Consecration probably wins him the game, though. I need this Sylv to be dead, right? So hopefully he tries to steal this or accidentally steals the Doomsayer somehow. I don't know. That's a weird 50-50. Oh, never mind. It's not a 50-50. So if he's smart, he'll use his... Oh no, he wants to steal it. That makes sense. That was a crazy play. So now what do we do? I mean, Molten Giant's pretty sick. can actually kill that and play a free Molten Giant. And a Siege Giant, but I can only taunt for 8, and that's not enough. I'll die. Where is Elemental Destruction? It would ruin this board. Like, just absolutely devastate this board. Where's Reno, too? Oh, I've never even seen the artwork for this card. That's sick. That's super cool. So, I have a cool board, but unfortunately I'm dead, right? I don't have anything to taunt. A Faceless Manipulator would have kept me in the game, I think. But he has more than enough damage, right? He can do 8 with just these 2, and then I'm just dead. So it's a cool board, but without Sunfear Protector or Defender of Argus like you'd see in a handlock, it just doesn't do enough, right? Consecration for the win, it looks like. All Pyro Equality, weapon to the face. I like it. Mad respect. You're running a real deck. Good on you. Good on you. Yeah, that was pretty challenging. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should have dealt with the Sylvanas a little faster, but honestly, she's what shut me out of the game. I just didn't have an answer for that. No Hex. No Elemental Destruction. I couldn't play my big guys into her. Because once I made the first play I could with the Doomsayer to potentially threaten Sylvanas, or if she stole the Doomsayer, or, but just nothing worked out. Nothing worked out. So that's going to do it for me in the all-epic Shaman. You can see how this kind of deck works. This is clearly not a good list because of the limitations, but if you started making some strategic substitutions, I don't think it'd be far off, right? Like, you could maybe swap 8 to 10 cards out of here and make the list good, like adding in Healing Waves, adding in Hex, Lightning Storm, and frankly, that gets you pretty close to a playable list. I'd cut probably these 2 cards, maybe cut the weapons, add in like Rockbiter or Lightning Bolt, some sort, or Stormcrack, actually probably Stormcrack for single target removal along with the Hex, and probably Thing from Below's to benefit your hero powers, because you're going to end up hero powering a fair bit, and also probably a Halazeal just to heal. So by that time, obviously, it's starting to look a lot like a more standard Ancestral Spirit control Shaman, but with some flourishes with the Giants and stuff. So anyway, pretty fun to build a list like this, and surprisingly good, right? Like, we won a game and played a couple close ones, or close-ish ones, where you could see some light at the end of the tunnel. So I like what we pulled off here with the all-epic Shaman. If you have any questions about this deck, you know where to leave them. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.